Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Mojo Hour show. My name is Pamela Sylvan. I'm your host this week, and I'm quite excited. Week after week when we come on to this segment, I'm usually here by myself, so it's always a thrill when I'm able to share space with special people who are, I would say, experts in their field. And I'm always looking for people that are able to lend their wisdom and knowledge for you, this demographic of women who are tracking beautifully in the second half of their life. And this particular guest is just here to do just that with you. Her name is Mijanou Serre, and she is a personal trainer and weight loss coach. And I know many of you are working on this particular problem because you know how it is, ladies. We all of a sudden decide that, you know what, we have some energy. We have not been taking care of ourselves because we've been taking care of people for a long time. And it's now our time. We've moved past our messy middle and we want to get ourselves back. We want to get our sexy back. Remember last week when I talked about getting your sexy back? Well, here is the lady to help you work on one particular component of that, which is our physical lives, which also affects our mental lives and our emotional and even I would say spiritual lives. So I would love for you to listen in and take notes where you can. And if you're joining us live today, please stay after for the after show and ask her as many questions that we can get in the 30 minutes that we have. All right, so again, thank you all for joining me here on the Mojo Hour show. And today we have Mijanou Serre. Mijanou, welcome to the Mojo Hour.
Thank you so much, Pamela. It's so great to be here. Thank you.
Mijanou, thank you again for joining us here on the Mojo Hour show. So, Mijanou, I want to start off our conversation today by, first of all, congratulating you for taking on this particular task at this time of your life. And I know you have a hugely impacting story that I want you to start off our show today. So please introduce yourself and tell us, how did you start on this journey of getting fit?
Of course, Pamela. It would be my pleasure to do that. So, there were two pivotal things that happened. Okay. So one was what I call the art of looking in the mirror. And the second one is the art of free falling. And I'd like to just explain that one by one. And the two of them are actually connected. So the art of looking in the mirror, what happened to me? So in my early 50s, I literally woke up one morning, feet hit the floor, got up, walked past my full-length mirror, caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, did a double take, stopped, stared, and said to myself in shock, oh my goodness, where is she? What happened to me? Where did that Mijanou that I knew all those years, where did she go? And I panicked, right? I took a long, hard look at myself. I was overweight. I was soft. I was unfit, meaning I was not fit. I was not physically fit. I was out of shape and I was overwhelmingly tired all the time. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, is this my fate? Is this what I have all these future years to look forward to? And so I asked myself the one question though. I said, okay, so who was at all these crime scenes, if you will, right? The physically unfit, the tired all the time. Well, it was me, right? And that kind of hit me like a bucket of ice water. So I started to look inward rather than looking outwards with all of the excuses out there. Okay. And I got on a track. I got on a track of becoming fitter, becoming stronger, losing the weight. And there was all this other stuff that was happening in my life at the same time. And that is the art of free falling. So I'm just going to leave the art of looking in the mirror to the side a second here and just tell you about my free falling story. So while that was going on, the whole physical stuff, then there's the whole stuff that happens when you hit 50. Okay. So your relationship changes, as mine did. Okay. My relationship status changed. Career change, right? I lost my long-standing corporate job. My mother's health suddenly and quickly declined. My two children, who are young adults, came back home to live with me because of financial, difficulties out there for a young person. So that added parental, parental pressures. And then looking for another job as a mature, seasoned professional woman, it was very, very difficult. So I had all of that going on. And so I stepped back and I said to myself, okay, let's take care of the physical self first, because I knew deep down in my heart, if I got fitter, leaner, stronger physically, my mind would be clearer and sharper, and I would be in a position where I could handle all of these other challenges quite nicely. And that's exactly what I did. I got myself on that track. I got fitter, leaner, stronger, and was able to sustain all of that as I moved through the challenges of just life at 50 plus. And so today, those challenges, some are, behind me, some still continue on because that is life, but I have the capacity, because I'm physically fit, I feel strong, my mind is really clear and focused, that I can handle all of this other stuff. And so it actually worked. And in terms of my career, I completely pivoted, because there was a point where I said to myself, okay, this corporate career stuff isn't working, and it's not working fast enough. And do I really want to go back there? And so I thought long and hard about it. And I said, you know what? I can't be the only woman 50 plus out there who was feeling the same way that I was feeling physically, okay, and having all of those life challenges thrown at her. So I get her. I understand her. I was her, and in many ways, I'm still are. I still am, because I deal with life just like she does. And so why don't I help her get on that track? And so I went back to the studies, went back to school, if you will, studied, took the exams, and became a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and body transformation coach, specifically focused on women 50 plus.
Beautiful, beautiful. And to your point, when women get to that sort of special time, when we are looking towards at 50 mark, a lot of women start to panic. A lot of things change. Their primary relationships, a lot of them do dissolve and fall away. Changing careers are, the empty nest thing starts happening. Now the empty nest is reversing. People are coming back.
Yes, it is. That's right.
Either way, there's a lot of stress that goes on. And with it, the pounds start to pack on because of comfort food eating and not moving enough and so forth, especially how we live our lives. If we're living our lives and we're always in the vehicle, we're not getting as much exercise as we need. So we arrive one day, we pass the mirror like you did.
Yes.
And don't recognize the reflection at that point. That must be a prevalent story for a lot of your clients when they get to that point and they sort of, oh my God, what am I supposed to do now? And we don't know what to do. Where do we start? We think we need to just jump into the gym. What do we do?
Well, you see, women have been up until their 50s, okay, but it actually continues on, but up until their 50s, women have been, have had ingrained in them that, they should be on a diet, okay? And, there are hundreds of diets out there, right? So to lose the weight, to get back to what you were or to who you were or to what you look like, you need to get on a diet. Okay, so that's number one. They've been on this diet track for most of their lives, right? And that diet roller coaster of overwhelm and burnout, because nothing ever works. They've tried everything, they've quit, and now they're asking themselves these questions, just like what you said. So that's how I meet them for the first time. Plus, at that point, they haven't been able to lose the weight since the birth of their last child, no matter what they do. Okay, so there's that as well. And then there's the belief in themselves that, can I really do this, right? Can I really, change myself physically in my 50s, right? I'm not 20 anymore. So that's how I meet them. And what happens is that first and foremost, I want to disrupt a couple of things, okay? One of the things is society's conventional wisdom, or not wisdom, conventional thinking, that women 50 plus are, overweight, tired, moody, grumpy, professionally done, past their best by date. And a lot of people buy into that, right? Secondly, that they can be the entire opposite of all of that, right? They can be in the best shape of their lives, right? That it is possible. I did it, right? In the same situation that they were in. And here I am today. I'm able to, talk about it, and I'm proof. The other thing is I, disrupt that diet mentality, okay? Because diets are restrictive, prescriptive. Diets tell you, eat this, don't eat that, and never go over there and eat that, okay? And so what happens is you're eating in a way that is not supporting you, okay? Whereas I try to teach them that you eat foods that are going to support you, that are going to keep you full, that are going to cut your cravings, include foods that you love, because what's the point, right? And that let you give that, enable you to get the results that you're looking for, while, and this is key here, while you live in the wild of your life. And I like to use that. The wild of your life is your real life, right? It's your life with dinner dates out at a restaurant. It's life meeting your girlfriends for happy hour, right? It's your life traveling and sampling, the cultural food and the experiences. It's your, life with Friday night Netflix and pizza with the family, right? So it has to be that kind of an approach, right? And you know what? I get a lot of raised eyebrows. Well, is that going to work? Yes, it's going to work. Why? Because you're not going to feel deprived. You're not going to go crazy doing the mental gymnastics of, am I on a diet? Am I not on a diet? Do I get a cheat day? This is the cheat meal. I'm having this. I feel awful. Then they're beating themselves up. Okay. So that is the nutrition component. Then I introduce the fitness component. And here's the other thing. Women are, told, or they've seen this, get on the cardio, get on the treadmill, run like it's 1989, right? Spin like it's 2013, right? And, they don't get any results. And what I do is weight lifting, strength training, picking something heavy up, pushing something heavy, pulling something heavy. That's weight training, which I can have them do at home, okay? And I've got, programs for that, or they do it in a gym. And what
let me just ask you really quickly, just to clarify. So yeah. Are you advocating more weight training than cardio, or is there a mix?
I advocate focusing on weight training, okay, and then introducing movement into your life, okay? And then movement is a whole other thing. Movement is taking a walk, right? Movement is perhaps doing yoga that you like to do, okay? But I'm a big advocate of do not underestimate the power of a walk, right? For all kinds of reasons. It just brings the stress levels down, endorphins go up, you're able to blue sky, your life, your thinking, etc. It's very, very freeing, okay? So that's what I advocate. I mean, listen, I get on the treadmill too, but I'm not running on the treadmill, right? I put it on an incline and I do a comfortable, walk. That's what I do. I don't run, okay? So, introducing the weight training. And it's so important for women 50 plus because it will physically support you. It will physically support your bone density, and it may enhance your bone density, which is a really big issue for women 50 plus, okay? And the other thing
I'm just going to jump in there about the weight training. I hear this all the time when you talk about this, when someone talks about this, is this fear that they're going to bulk up and they're going to look bigger than they are, and they refuse to do it. So they're going to stick to their dieting, and they're going to stick to their running or whatever it is that they're doing.
Okay. So weight training for a woman is not going to make you look like a guy. It is impossible unless you're taking unless you're taking performance enhancing drugs. Okay. Otherwise, we have 1/7 of the testosterone that men have. 1/7. Okay. And so you are not going to get big like a dude. It is impossible. Okay. What's going to happen if you weight train? Okay. Is that you are going to reshape your body, right? You are going to get that nice toned look. Okay. Women like to use the word tone, right? But tone is, that nice sort of curve in your arm, those beautiful shoulders, that strong back, that flat stomach. You're going to look great in a t-shirt. You're going to look great in a backless dress, right? You're going to look great in shorts and a bikini, whatever you want to wear. There is nothing on the planet that is going to reshape your body the way that weight training will. And that was a huge shocker for me, okay? Because I had not weight trained before I started, right? And so once I started to weight train, okay, what happens first, Pamela, is that you start to feel good in your head before you start to see results, all right? And then, weight training is very, very progressive. It's a progressive sport. You don't go in there, lifting, the big heavy duty, weights. You start where you are and you progress. And that's another thing that I really, really emphasize. So that's what weight training is going to do. Cardio is the biggest energy drain on your system. It is not going to give you the kind of body that women are after, at least the women that I talk to. Okay.
Yeah, what you're looking for, exactly. I'll also add in there, when I started with it, the first place I noticed it was my neck and my shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sort of went down the rest of the body from there. I thought that was quite interesting how that progressed.
Yes. And weight training is very, very efficient with the right program. Okay. You're going to get a big return on your investment of time. All right. And also money. Weight training is very efficient at, burning off fat and at metabolizing carbs in your body. All right. It's really, really good at doing that. Okay. And it is really good at instigating lean muscle growth. Right. And so that's how you start to notice these changes in your body. They're subtle at first, and then you keep doing it consistently, progressively. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at myself and I'm going, oh my God, right? I never looked like this at 2025. And I, ran because that's what everybody did. And then I spin because that's what everybody did, right? And I never looked like that. And I was in my 20s and 30s, right?
Someone starts a program of change, of reinvention. What is a realistic time frame for them if they're on a good program?
Okay. So yeah. And so, okay. So your program or a program, and what I tell my women community is you need 3 things. Okay. You need that nutrition blueprint, right? That's customized to you, right? That's customized to your lifestyle, your metabolism, where you are with all of this stuff. Okay. So you need that. Okay. That nutrition blueprint. Then you need, a weight training program that also meets you where you are today. I've got clients who start from zero. They've never walked into a gym. They've never even picked up bands, because you can do your weight training with bands and body weight as well, right? And so you need a weight training program that meets you where you are, but that is efficient and effective, okay? So as an example, if someone says to me, Mijanou, I want to see my abs. So how many crunches should I do? And I'm going to say, no. You're squatting. Why? Because it uses bigger muscle groups and therefore burns more fat in your body. It's very, very efficient, very, very effective. So when I put a weight training program together for someone, we're focusing on the really big muscles, because you're still going to work your smaller muscles, your biceps, your triceps, your calves, all of that stuff. Okay, that happens as you're working the big muscle groups. And the third thing you need are a set of skills and habits that you do on the daily. And all of this together, this beautiful three-legged stool, if you will, solid stool, You do consistently. Now, being consistent and doing these things on a daily basis is not sexy at all. It's downright boring. But the consistency is what's going to make you sexy, and that's just the bottom line.
Wow. You know, I I go to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week, at least 5 times a week. And you're right, it is boring. It's like, I usually do intervals. I do upper body, then lower body, and some floor things. And you're right. After a few months, it's like, now what? So I'm looking at changing some things up, but I'm also thinking about the food now. I recognize that my food isn't what it could be, and I don't have the appetite for things anymore, which I find is good because I'm no longer craving some things anymore. I think it's because I'm getting stronger, I'm getting fitter, so I don't need the support of a lot of the things that my go-to foods. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I know there are a lot of food myths, maybe, I guess, that women still sit on, like they're not going to eat carbs. Let's talk about the carb myth. What do you say to that? Well, when people go on and on and on about that.
Oh, I well, first of all, if you're not having carbs in your nutrition plan, you're on some sort of diet, okay? And diets are very prescriptive, restrictive, okay? So if you're not having carbs, you're on some sort of diet, all right? Which makes it very, very difficult to follow, all right? You're not happy, you're moody, it's hard. It really is hard. And on day 6, you quit, okay? And then that's where all of the emotion comes in, right? Oh, I failed. Oh, I'm not in the right gene pool. Oh, I'm menopausal, so it's never going to work, right? And you beat yourself up. So you're on some sort of a diet if you take out carbs, okay? Too restrictive, too prescriptive. And here's the thing, Pamela, it has to be sustainable. And not eating carbs is not sustainable. I have never met a person who, started to not eat carbs and still was doing it 2 weeks later, a month later, 6 months later, a year later. It's impossible. It's just unsustainable. Okay. And besides which, your brain needs a certain amount of carbohydrates to function, right? So I would say that get off that diet roller coaster of misinformation, which leads to overwhelm if you're not having your carbs, which leads to burnout if you're not having your carbs, which leads you to quitting not having your carbs, and which leads you to starting on Monday again. I mean, how many women have started on a Monday more times than they can count, right? So that's what I would say, about that. And then, what happens too is that now you're already labeling foods as good and foods as bad. Okay. And I don't do that. I never say to my clients building their blueprints, you are having all of this and you are having none of that. That never happens. It's you are going to eat, or you're going to concentrate more on eating more of this, less of that, and some of that. And you notice I never said none of that. Okay. Because look at, we still have to live our lives. We still have to feel joyful about what we're doing. We still have to be, optimistic and, feeling empowered. And, eating that way lets us do that. And there is a way to do that, to include, those foods that you love, those carbohydrates, whatever it is for you, a glass of wine, doing it in a way that gives you the results, but that lets you live your life. And again, not having carbs or having this tonic in the morning, or I mean, I don't know, there's so many crazy things out there. That's just a lot of misinformation pushed out to women for
So,
years.
so to live a life worth living, having fun, getting healthy, maintaining a healthy weight, it's just about simplicity and bringing some joy into this thing, because I've been on that treadmill forever myself. I'm up and down, I'm crazy, I'm not crazy. And I've come to a conclusion that I just want to live my life. I just want to have some peace here. I want to eat what I want to eat. I mean, I don't bring junk food into my home, so it's not as if I'm sitting around eating, one candy bar after the next or anything. But being mindful about what I'm putting into my body. I'm not eating late into the night. I'm still going to have my glass of wine, and I just really focus in on the movement. I started off with a quest of walking a certain amount of kilometers, 1,000 kilometers in a set amount of time, and that loosened me up. That loosened up my joints. That got me thinking. Like you said, it was really great to
Mhm.
get up there. It was like a walking meditation for me. And then after once the whole thing about getting back to the gym sort of loosened up, I was back in there, and then started with the picking something heavy up.
Mhm.
And I just do that. If that's all I do, I don't worry too much about the food as long as I'm not focusing it on junk and sweets and sugar and all of that stuff that's no good and we should not be doing anyway.
I think that's a really good start, Pamela. I would add that there's a couple of things that women need to focus on as well. Okay, and that is many women overestimate the amount of protein that they eat in their diet. Overestimate, which means that when I take a hard look at that, they really aren't eating a lot of it, and our bodies need the protein. This is what's going to keep you full. This is what's going to keep you satisfied. This is and there's a host of you know benefits to eating your protein. It's for weight loss and weight maintenance, right? It's for to turn over your cells, etc. And then many women underestimate. Now I'm going to say it, carbs. Okay, I'm not saying don't eat carbs. They underestimate the amount of carbs that they eat and the amount of fats that they eat. So you need to pay attention that these things are in line. The other thing that you need to pay attention to are your portions. How many portions of protein is ideal for you, and what's the size of that? Okay, and so in my blueprint we do all of that based on lifestyle, based on age, based on activity level, and based on just where they're at today, right? So there's a certain amount of protein that you need to be consuming in a day, certain amount of carbohydrates, certain amount of fats. Okay, and then those portions have to be sized properly. Okay, and the way that I do it is with my hands, right? I teach them the hand method. Why? Because hands are portable. We don't measure anything on a scale. We don't count macronutrients or anything like that, because let's face it, we're not building the rocket to get across the street here. My goal is to provide a nice, simple, doable, easy set of tracks, give them a GPS, right, to get them from point A to point B in a way that's going to meet, to make them feel like they're normal, like this is normal, and that, they can say to themselves, holy smokes, I'm eating all of this, I can still go out, I'm still losing weight, and guess what? I can take this to Mexico with me. I can take this to Europe. I can go, visit my, children across the country, and I'm not taking a break. I'm not, going to go bananas, right? Because I think I'm on holiday, right? Where all
So,
bets
Misha,
are off when you're on holiday.
what I want to do now is just introduce the women to how they can find you, because this is a big topic, as you well know. We can go on for a long time about
We can.
the fine tuning of the meals and the
Yeah.
exercise and the movement. So how can they continue to have this conversation with you? Where can they reach you?
I am super easy to find. You can find me under my name, Mijanou Serre. You can find me on Facebook under my name. Just send me a message there. You can certainly email me, mijanou.serre@gmail.com. I keep it really simple. Or you can find me on Instagram under my first and last name. I keep things very, very simple. And I also have a private Facebook group just for women that I'm going to be opening up soon. And so if they communicate with me, I'm happy to put them in the group, where I'll be doing, trainings much like what we're having, Pamela, more in depth, more conversation, more questions and answer, which I will not be posting on my main profile, but I'll be doing it in my group. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'll reach out to you about that because I want to have a little bit more of a focused conversation with a group of ladies that I have as well. So, but I want
Okay.
to thank you, Mijanou, for joining us here today on the Mojo Hour show. Like I said, it's a big, huge topic, and we need to continue to talk about it. But more than ever, I want women to feel confident that they too can take this journey, just the way that you've taken it and have found such huge success with your transformation, the one that I continue to be on, and other thousands of women are on
Yeah.
as well. So
Well, you're more than welcome. I'm so happy to be here. And you know what? To all the women out there, your 50s are your power decades. Never forget that.
love that, love that. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again. Follow me on PamelaSylvan.com, and as always, don't forget in the next week to continue to spiral up. Bye.